Thank you.
Late Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made." It shouldn't be that women are the exception. And we see in her life and in lives of so many women that more than not being the exception, women are rather exceptional. A very good evening to one and all. I, Varsha NJ, MISO subsection student representative and professional activities chair VVIT student branch Mysuru, will be a host for this evening. I would like to take this opportunity to extend a warm and cordial welcome to all the dignitaries, members, and the students present to WIE Lead, organized by IEEE MESA subsection in association with IEEE Bangalore section, IEEE Mangalore subsection, and IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Bangalore chapter. WIE Lead is a panel discussion to appreciate and celebrate the powerful women. Today we are joined by Dr. YVS Lakshmi, Dr. Deepa Shenoy, Ms. Divya MG, and Ms. Sadhna Tawar as panelists. I request all the participants to stay muted for the smooth conduction of the event. Also, I request all the participants to mention their name with proper initials and email ID, which will be considered for the attendance. Let me now give an introduction about IEEE MISA subsection. IEEE MISA subsection installation, one among the three subsections of IEEE Bangalore section. The aim of IEEE MISA subsection is to conduct various student and professional activities like invited talks, student internships, workshops, and the flagship conferences. IEEE MISA subsection consists of Mysore, Mandya, Hassan, Chamarajanagar, and Kodagu districts. MISA subsection has 26 engineering colleges with 14 IEEE student branches and more than 1,000 IEEE members. IEEE MISA subsection will enhance the professional networking, humanitarian activities, and staying updated with the latest technological development. Key position holders of IEEE MISA subsection are as follows. Chair, Dr. Bindu A. Thomas. Chair-elect, Dr. Parmeshachari BD. Vice Chair, Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni. Secretary, Dr. Radhakrishna Rao KA. And Treasurer, Dr. Archana NV, along with 17 EXICOM members. The goal of IEEE MISA subsection is to conduct various flagship events, outcome-based programs, and various technical activities. I'm truly privileged to talk about the legacy of IEEE MISA subsection. Now I would like to present the welcome address. I'm privileged to welcome our panelists for today, Dr. YVS Lakshmi, Group Leader, IPR Marketing and Knowledge Management Group, Center for Development of Telematics, Bangalore. We welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Deepa Shenoy. Dr. Deepa Shenoy, Dean of Engineering, Bangalore University, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, UECE. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Divya MG, Joint Director, SDOS and Admin Group at CDAC, Bangalore. Hearty welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Varsha, and entire Mangalore subsection and MISO subsection team.
Sadhna Tawar, Director, Vishweshwaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bangalore. Warm welcome to you, ma'am. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the chair of IEEE. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the chair of IEEE MISA subsection, Dr. Bindu A. Thomas, Professor and Head, Department of ECE VVIT, Mysuru. Warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm happy to welcome the chair-elect, IEEE MISA subsection, Dr. Parmeshachari BD, Professor and Head, GSSS IETW, Mysore. Hearty welcome to you, sir. A warm welcome to all the EXICOM members of IEEE MISA subsection and the event coordinators. On behalf of IEEE MISA subsection, I cordially welcome all the participants to this web panel discussion. Now I would like to request Professor Ashwini B, Department of CSE, NME, MIT, NITTE, and EXICOM member, Mangalore subsection, and Dr. Pallavi Mani, Associate Professor, ECE Department, MIT, and EXICOM member of Mangalore subsection to introduce our panelists.
Thank you, Varsha. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Dr. YYS Lakshmi received PhD from ECE Department, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. She completed a basic course on IPR conducted by WIPO and PG Diploma in IPR Law from NLSIU, Bangalore. She gained more than 20 years experience in the telecom industry in quality, reliability, failure analysis, corporate functions, IPR, training and teaching, and technology marketing. Currently, she is the group leader, IPR, Marketing and Knowledge Management Group, C. Bangalore. She published and presented more than 100 papers in national and international journals. She has patented current controlled variable resistor through superconductors. She has received Sir M. Vishwesvaraya Award for extraordinary contributions to engineering on September 2011. She is also a recipient of REVA Engineering Excellence Award 2018 in recognition of overall contribution in the field of engineering and technology. She is a fellow IETE, senior member IEEE, and life member IMAPS. I welcome you, madam.
Thank you so much, Ashwini.
Yeah. So next, we have one more panelist, Sadhana Athawar. So Ms. Sadhana Athawar has over 32 years of experience in non-formal education sector in popularizing science. Her major experience is in designing and developing of interactive science exhibits and in integrating the hardware and software to create user-friendly learning solutions. The most recent exhibition curated by her is the Space Technology Gallery, housed at Vishwesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bangalore. She has contributed to the development of Science Center network across the country and was instrumental in setting up a new science center at Pilikula in Mangalore. Currently, she is the project head for setting up a new science center at Rajamundry in the state of Andhra Pradesh. She has also played a pivotal role in establishing a nationwide satellite communication link designed for organizing educational extension activities to rural areas across India. She has presented papers in national and international conferences and published articles related to science and technology in various journals and newspapers. At present, she is a senior curator and head of electronics at Vishwesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bangalore. She is a senior member of IEEE and is currently treasurer and chair-elect Women in Engineering of IEEE Bangalore section. She was also treasurer for 2018. She is an educational activities chair of Bangalore subsection from 2016 to 17. She was publicity co-chair of IEEE WIE Global Summit 2016 and IEEE Smart Tech 2017-18. She chaired the industry panel of R10 SYWL Congress 2016 for WIE track and the track on women empowerment for IEEE WIE Global Summit 2016. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Varsha.
Thank you, Varsha.
Request Dr. Pallavi Mane, Associate Professor, ECE Department, MIT, Manipal, and Execom member, Mangalore subsection, to introduce our other panelists.
Well, unmute yourself. I think there is some issues. Ashwini, madam, can you just read the next bio, please?
Okay. One sec, ma'am. Miss, I'll I'll take the pleasure to introduce Miss Divya MG, currently working as Joint Director, SDOS Group at Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, Knowledge Park, Bengaluru. Earlier, she was working as scientist at Core R&D ITI Limited, Bangalore. She has over 25 years of experience in telecommunication and distributed computing. Her education background is BTech, MS, and MBA. Her interest areas are telecommunication, high performance computing, grid and cloud computing, and vehicular technology. She has various publications to her credit, also given presentations at national and international conferences. She is IEEE senior member and Women in Engineering member. Her volunteering excellence and impact has been felicitated by the IEEE Bangalore section Outstanding Volunteer Award for the year 2018. I welcome Ms. Divya MG. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Ashwini.
Okay. Dr. Deepa Shenoy is currently working as professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, UECE, Bangalore University. She did her doctorate in the area of data mining from Bangalore University in the year 2005. Her areas of research include data mining, soft computing, biometrics, and social media analysis. She has awarded 9 PhDs and published more than 150 papers in refereed international conferences and journals. She was a WIE chair of Bangalore section from 2010 to 2014 and SAT chair from 2015 to 2016. She is a recipient of Outstanding Branch Consular Award from Bengaluru section for the year 2011 and MGA Outstanding Branch Consular Award for the year 2016. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, Varsha. Thank you.
Professor Ashwini. Now I'd like to request Dr. Bindu A. Thomas, Chair IEEE Mysore Subsection, Professor and Head Department of ECE VVIT Mysuru, to take over the session.
Thank you, Varsha. A very good evening to all. I raise up my voice, not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. This is a quote by Malala Yousafzai. She says this because she knows that if we are held back, we won't be able to succeed. The prevalence of the power in women has increasingly developed through the prehistoric and ancient times human art history. By gaining more valuable and prominent meaning through the eras, women as a societal gender have increasingly advanced from being seen first as solely objects of maternality to later seen as functioning and flourishing members of the society. Today we are here, celebrate and get inspired from the women who have set a great example for today's world from their work and contribution. I'm very happy to introduce to the audience that this month of March is celebrated as the International Women's Day. And for us, it was just not the day, it went on for a whole month. And I thank the volunteers for having taken initiatives in such a way that there were series with a specific theme, like we started with We Wellness, then we followed it with We Innovate and We Research. And today, we have the last event in the series, which is We Lead. And the objective of this event is to showcase the qualities required to excel as a leader, as you all are. And as a woman, what challenges we may come across, at the same time, what inherent qualities that women have was useful, able to lead. So taking this as the cue, I would now start interacting with the eminent panelists who have been leaders in different spheres, and they will be able to share their experience. And to start with, I would like to throw a common question that is usually asked to all women leaders. What is your experience as a women leader? So would you be able to put it together in just 2 minutes? I request panelists to take it over one by one, starting with Dr. Lakshmi. Ma'am, could you please, just sum up your experience as a women leader?
First of all, many times I will not know whether I'm a leader, unless I feel that many people are following me, right? Of course, it's an excellent feeling that you have left a legacy behind, and we have given some nuggets to the others to follow. And that is the experience as a leader I have. And as we move on, I can give more details as to how I have reached this position. Thank you.
Shall I take over?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am?
Yeah. A leader, a person becomes leader due to various reasons. First, it should be in her or his blood to become a leader. It has to be inherited, and it depends on the context, the family, and the environment where you grow up to take responsibilities. Okay, as a leader, I always took many responsibilities, and a leader should lead by example. Any work you should do first and then set an example, and others should follow you. As a leader, you have to start various initiatives. As a leader, we have to see that others also grow with us, because we can't be selfish. As a leader, a person should not be selfish, and he or she should be ready to sacrifice, and then see that others also grow along with you. So if we have all these qualities, then automatically people identify them as leaders. I cannot declare myself as a leader. I'm a leader, follow me. That is not possible. Others should recognize you as a leader for all the work and the initiatives and the responsibilities taken. Then you enjoy that position. This is my experience as a leader. I'm a leader in my house. I'm a leader in my college, and I don't know, it is there in my personality, I think. So wherever I go, I think I behave like a leader. This is my experience, which I wanted to share.
Yes, Divya ma'am, Sadhna ma'am, take one by one. Yeah.
Okay. See, actually, I would like to explain my multiple responsibilities and my experience towards that, how I handle. See, I categorize my assignments into 3 parts. One is our office assignment, home assignment, and voluntarily what I opt to be with the professional society. So in office assignment, where I should take up and complete given assignments, and I should complete all the assignments within time. This is about because no compromising here. Okay, I can't keep pending deadline, quality reviews, everything I have to meet because I have been paid. Okay, that's about one assignment. Other one is home assignment. Here I can alter, drop, outsource. I mean, I have more freedom to schedule, reschedule, complete, and then complete the whatever I supposed to do at home. And my involvement in professional society, this is my third assignment. I mean, 3 part of my life, I tell, no, third. So here I am associated with, in this context, I am associated with IEEE and Women in Engineering. Okay, here I accept what I can definitely do. I quote here, I accept what I can definitely do. So I accept the assignment based on my time space. So this is the way I handle my multiple responsibilities with thoughtfully. So because of this focus, clarity, and passion to volunteer, and what just now Deepa madam also told, I always involve many people in my assignments. Whatever I supposed to do, I'll try to pull many people. Only the criteria is they should have a passion and time at that moment of time. That's the only thing is. This is the way I handle my multiple responsibilities. So wonderful experience, because of ultimately I am gaining because of my contribution or hard working. With many people, I execute my task. Thank you.
ma'am. Sadhana ma'am, could you please sum
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Good evening to all. Thank you, Bindu, Mysore subsection, Mangalore subsection, and Bangalore section for having organized this event in the first place. The question is, women as leaders, and research shows that women are better leaders than men in hour of crisis. When there is a crisis, it seems women, it has been, research has shown that women are better leaders than men. So I had an experience in my workplace when there was a crisis, and at that point, today I am the director of Vishweshwar Museum. When this crisis happened few years back, that time I was number 2 at the Vishweshwar Museum. I was next to the director. So there was a crisis, and a group of people that Gero, the director, and the director was on leave or tour or whatever it is. So I was the person in charge. So a group of people just mobbed me, and they wanted to. It was sort of a union sort of a thing, and it was a very difficult situation. Maybe for nearly 2 hours, I was not able to leave my room. So in this crisis management, what I felt that you need to be patient, because maybe a male was there in that position. Maybe they will answer back, and there will be a lot of assault, because the people were so much agitated. So what I decided was that you should keep your cool, calm, and you listen to them. Don't say that, no, it cannot be. Don't use the word, no, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. This is not possible. That is not. Instead of that, you keep your cool, listen to them, whatever is the problem, and tell them in a nice way whatever is possible. See, you have given a problem, I'll put it up to the management, I'll see what best can be done. And you need to have a lot of patience. I felt that as a you need to have a lot of patience, and you should listen. A leader is not only the dictating terms, also you should listen to your people, and also give whatever best you can do. So that was a very a tough moment for me. I think for 2 hours I was not allowed to leave my room, and finally somehow it was resolved and I could leave my room. But so I think in the crisis moment, definitely women are better leaders. I would say that in crisis moment, women are better leaders than men. And then I was appreciated in my organization that it's good that the director said I was not available. You manage the situation a better way than me. So yeah, that's all my view about women in leadership.
Very much, Sadhana ma'am. It was so aptly said, and it clearly shows that another inherent quality of women of being patient will definitely help in terms of resolving lot many problems as a leader. Okay, going next, I would like to understand from you, the panelists, the experts, that how does research or research experience complement the role of a leader? I mean, as a woman, as you lead, does research or competency, obviously it will complement, but do you get the edge in all your activities as you move forward? One question. So I will take it starting from Lakshmi ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am? Yeah.
Yes. Actually, here I would like to say that knowledge is power, standard dialogue. Many times, I would like to give some examples. Like, of course, research, of course, that teaches you, doing a PhD teaches you a lot of patience, and it teaches you to go through definitely you'll go through a lot of crisis management during your research, and that's when you learn how to go for plan A, plan B, plan C. It's sort of, we are learning leadership skills inherently without our knowledge, but always the knowledge of knowing and where to get the data, whom to ask the data, these are very, very important when we become leaders. So that is one point. The other is basically, for example, I have done IPR course from law school. My office never wanted me to do or anything like that. But the moment I took over as a role as an IPR manager, I felt if I have to give a confident answer to whatever I'm saying in intellectual property, I need to have a backup of a degree. or a diploma. So that's when I did this course from law school, and it still lot of confidence in me. So always learning, doing those courses becomes important. And another very simple example I will tell. I had not studied Hindi in my schooling. Maybe till seventh only I had studied. So being in central government, we are all asked to complete two exams in Hindi. So of course, I took the exam and everything. And once I did that, and I started using Hindi as bilingual, and I may not be typing out the letters, but others will be doing. The reason why we need to know is when somebody does that work in Hindi, I should know whether I'm right or not. Am I doing the right signatures or not? So always knowing and knowledge is very, very important. It is that will help us to see if there are any mistakes happening, and we can correct it there, and nobody can take you for a ride. So that is what I feel. The research or whatever you are learning never goes waste. That is very, very important. One should know that. In fact, I moved to IPR because I had a patent in my PhD. I never knew at that point of time it will take me here. So now this has become my passion and my interest and things like that. Yeah, thank you.
Deepa ma'am, as a professor.
Yeah. As a professor in a university college is very, very different. As to become a professor in a university college, PhD is a must. And by doing research, we can, the teaching style and the way you do research in order to cover a small topic also changes. We do a lot of research before taking the class, okay? And doing research mainly teaches you patience, as Lakshmi madam told. It teaches you perseverance and a lot of hard work, and then it teaches you to take support from your neighbors, from your family, because without them it is difficult to do research. Then this is doing research. After doing research, what you do is very important in our setup. So till now I have given 18 PhDs, and it is not a small task. To give each PhD, we take 5 to 6 years, and some students have taken 10 years. Okay, and patiently I waited for them to complete the research work and get the degree. And getting degree for each student is a very difficult task, and I have come across various crises in giving PhD than in taking PhD. Okay, and research now has become a way of life, as I usually tell in various forums. It improves the quality of life. It makes you a leader. The more number of PhDs you give, better you become. And I'm very happy to say that 70 to 80% of my students are girls or ladies, and I support ladies doing research because I know the hardship they go through in order to study or in order to manage the family and the research activity. So I usually support or take girl student or lady students, and this journey of nearly 20 years in the research activity is very, very rewarding. It changes you completely. You become a different person, and you, for foremost, you learn to respect your guide and teachers and those who have helped, and that makes you a better leader. Our guide thrice in a year, wherever he is, and whatever is our engagement or commitments, we go and wish him. One on his birthday, second one on New Year Day, and third one on the Teachers' Day. We make it a point to go and wish him, and that is how we follow some protocols and become better individuals. And research is everything for us now. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Divya ma'am, can you add something to this? Yes.
Yeah. Regarding the research aspects, I am from data center, or I you know that my day job is looking after the data center. So my perspective of sharing the experience will be a little different from what Dr. Lakshmi and Dr. Deepash and I shared. See, as I told, my day job is data center operation, right? And in data center we have many other facilities or services are there, but I will be mainly talking about a supercomputer is a part of data center. So here my expertise is in the areas of high performance computing, distributed computing. Okay, see, these two are an integral part of supercomputing. See, actually, when I say supercomputers, what it is, before I tell the research scope with respect to supercomputer, I just tell supercomputer in a simple way, not the, what to say, Wikipedia definition or something. Like supercomputer is, it provides computation and storage resources. Okay. And why do we need computation and storage resources? In order to solve the huge scientific problems which can be executed at a faster rate. So that is the essence of supercomputer. Now, computers, I told computation resource. I told supercomputer will provide computation resource and storage resource. Computation resources means it can be CPUs and GPUs in terms of gigaflops, megaflops, or petaflops, zettaflops. Right now it's going on so and so. And storage is always in the whatever application needs, that can e-commerce or a scientific application. If it is a scientific application, then storage is not so much required as required for the e-commerce application. Now, see, like if any students or if you have a problem statement, in case if you have a problem statement, I don't call researchers, industrialists, or a scientist. I just take it as a user. This para faculty, I just take it as a user. Okay, a user, if they have a problem statement and if they want that to be executed at faster rate, then they have to go to the supercomputer, or they should access supercomputer and get the application or their code get executed. While doing so, they should share the details like what type of hardware they need. Okay, what should be the processor speed. If they know, they can tell, otherwise it will be provisioned anyway. And what should be the memory requirement, of course the storage requirement, what type of software, if the application should be enabled on Linux operating system or Android or Windows, like that. So, or whatever the libraries are required. What I'm trying to tell you, user in order to execute the research, okay, and in order to get the output of their problem statement, they have to tell all the requirements of required, all the resources, hardware and software resources required for the execution of the software. So such a we have such a facility where the user can come and execute and get the research done, or an output they can get from the supercomputers. I think in the first round, I would like to tell this.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. So thank you for sharing the technicality behind the supercomputers and all the research that is happening, and I'm sure that's your strength. Now, over to Sadhna, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please express what is the, research, does research support you as a leader? And I'm sure it would.
Yeah. Thank you, Bindu, for the question. Definitely research supports, because my job is such that I'll have to study almost every day, because our job is conceiving, conceptualizing a subject and presenting to the public in a simple way. For example, if you take, when I had curated a gallery on electronics, so though I'm an electronics engineer, I know what is electronics. But how do you present, how do you explain, communicate that what is electronics to a small child? So we generally make analogies, mechanical analogies, and like what is a conductor. So we make a model in which there is a one box with the balls. If you tilt it, there are free electrons. There are many free electrons. You can see it moving. The one insulator box, there are free electrons. If you tilt it, they'll be standstill, to show that there is no movement of electrons. In semiconductor, if you tilt the box, maybe 1 or 2 electrons will move, to show that it partially conducts. So we'll have to coming up with models, we'll have to do a lot of research to coming up with such models. And now I am working on an exhibition on seeds of culture to show how India was the world leader in spices, how the spices like pepper, ginger, turmeric were exported to the world from India, especially the Malabar region of southern India. So we'll have to study. This is a totally different subject about plants and spices. It's a totally new subject. So we keep learning and reading and communicating science in a simple way to the people. So throughout my career, I keep on reading not only my subject. I have to read all other texts of subjects. So research is a very important part in in science communication. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sadhna ma'am. Thank you very much. I think, in short, all of us, have got the insight that as leaders, you all have a very impactful role in the research, and that is where you have your authority over the courses or the subjects that you deal with, and that is what is one of the reasons why you can say you can lead, right? Thank you so much for your inputs. So I would now go on to your specific questions. So starting with Lakshmi ma'am. So ma'am, as it's very new to hear that you took up this role or you lead as a IP expert, right? So as a IP head, what was your significant contribution in this role? And basically, you mentioned that you gained edge by taking a course. So can you please elaborate on that, ma'am?
Sure, Professor Bindu. Thank you so much, first of all, to giving me a chance to speak to all of you. My role as IP head and what is my significant contribution is for CDOT, we won the Intellectual Property Award for the best R&D in IPR. So that is the biggest significant contribution from my side, and I feel very proud that I really facilitated a lot of patenting across CDOT, and almost I am in this role for past 15 years, and every year my jump of patent filing is almost 50%. So sort of I have become synonymous with intellectual property rights across areas and domains and even in the organization. And any doubt anybody has, they just reach out to me on this. And I feel very confident and happy to facilitate many of these things. The main significant contribution is getting an award for IP because the quality of patents we have been filing is excellent. Thank you. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, ma'am. Very. So ideally, your contribution in the organization IP head as an IP head has been remarkable. Thank you for that, ma'am.
Thank you.
Over to Deepa, ma'am. Ma'am, as we hear that you are the first lady in the position of dean in the University of Bangalore University. How do you look at it? Okay, and what are the initiatives you have taken after taking this responsibility? Could you elaborate, ma'am?
Yeah, UVC is a 104-year-old college, and I'm there for the last 44 years in the college as a student and as a teacher, and I have 2 more years to go. And in the history of 104 years, no lady had become a dean of engineering for Bangalore University, and it was one becomes dean only due to the seniority. Okay, you should go to the top to become the dean, and somehow the seniority was arranged properly, and I was lucky enough to become the dean of engineering. As a dean, we will be working directly under the vice chancellor for various academic activities like appointments, and then setting up the calendar of events for various semesters, then taking care of with the academic council meeting where we take important decisions. But one thing which these are all routine things, and I don't have any big role in this. but one important area or the responsibility of a dean of any faculty is taking care of the progress or seeing the progress of the PhD students. And as a dean, I have to conduct PhD review committee meetings once in 6 months. And before I became dean, there was some problems and meetings were not held regularly. And PhD students always used to be in problem because we have to approve their progress report. We have to allow them to submit the thesis. We have to see the change of title. So many critical things will be there. But after I became the dean, I saw to that meetings of the various departments, PRC meetings were held regularly. In 1 year, 4 months, I already have conducted 3 meetings and I have solved almost all critical problems of the students, and students are very happy submitting their theses and completing their PhDs on time. And I am very happy to share that one such critical meeting I conducted when the corona was at its peak in the month of June. Nobody dared to go to university, or they never used to go out. We used to conduct only online classes and all. But some students were really in trouble. Then I told that whatever is the problem, even if I get corona, it is okay, but I have to solve the problems of some of the students of electronics department. So on June 4th, and the meeting was due for 2-3 years. It was not conducted and students were in trouble. So with the great difficulty, I conducted that meeting and students have submitted their thesis. And this initiative is very close to my heart because this initiative is under my control. So as the dean, I have seen that all the processes of PhD review committee is streamlined. And I'm very, very happy about this. Thank you, Bindu.
Ma'am, that is very, very important. Once you take over, how streamlined you put things. Thank you so much. Over to Divya ma'am. Divya ma'am, could you please, as your organization CDAC runs a lot of certification programs for the students, could you please elaborate on them and also let us know if there is any other government initiatives in this?
Yeah. So we actually CDAC, we are autonomous body under central government regulations. Okay, we have lot of thematic areas. Any project or a product or any domain project, we cannot take just like that. We have a thematic areas. Fine, okay. Encryption, distributed high performance computing. Then we have of late, like we have a Internet of Things, real-time systems like that, and SCADA problem, power electronics like that. So because we are doing the research in the specific areas, and teaching and the research is a good combination. With that as a view, we certification courses, 6 month certification courses. It is called finished school courses. After the BTech, only 85% and above students can take. When there is a cutoff, take up the courses. And placement will be arranged. Okay, it is placement provision is there. So because there's a very nice opportunity for us. If I'm excellent in software engineering, okay. See, I am from data center. I know I generally use a lot of scripting languages, and also quality standards I follow, and I am excellent in software engineering practices and project management. So I get the opportunity to teach a software engineering for the finished school. And I mean, it is like what we practice and what we teach, it will go in hands in hand. And you were asking about and every 6 months it is conducted through the written website. The people can visit and check the some few. Earlier we were running many courses. Now because of COVID, whatever related to hardware courses they have stopped. Only big data and software engineering. Software, I think, yeah. So some only soft skill based. I mean, software based certification courses are available. Now you are talking about government initiative. Government initiative in terms of supercomputers, I will tell, nothing to do with our certification courses. Okay. Actually, just now I told, see, all these research, when they do the certification course, the post-graduation diploma courses, Okay, there it is a project also will be there while doing, I mean, research-based projects. So that time also they need computation resources. Otherwise also any user may need computation resources. So computation resources are a need for the day for any problem solving. Okay, it can be disaster management or it can be bioinformatics related. I'm very sure for most of the COVID related medicines would have been that chemistry part of it or biology part of it is definitely executed on supercomputers. I have seen the written, I don't remember the supercomputer name. The exclusive supercomputer were used for COVID research in Canada, I guess. Okay, fine. Like, so government of India is planning to already launched, not planning, it's already now launched. So the government of India will be commissioning 72 supercomputers across India. So that no, any researcher, nowadays it's bit, even if you have a problem statement, even user has a problem statement, unless the user belongs to government universities or government research labs, it's a bit difficult to get access to the supercomputer. Okay, that's why the government of India is initiating under the name of National Supercomputing Mission is the project name. Under that project, they are rolling out the deployment of 72 supercomputers in phases. Okay, already third or fourth installation is going on. Param Brahma is in IIT, ITBH Varanasi. Then also one is Param installed in IIT Guwahati, and in Pune, ISR Pune, there is installed Param Ishan, I think. Okay, like a couple of supercomputers are being installed and one deployment currently going on in CDAC Bangalore. It is not yet named. And also one exclusive 100 teraflop supercomputer is deployed in CDAC Pune that is exclusively for artificial intelligence based AI based experiments. So these are all initiatives of Government of India under the project National Supercomputing Mission. That's it, Dr. Bindu.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, thank you so much. Sadhna, ma'am, over to you now. Ma'am, as you are a director of Vishwesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, now what initiatives does this organization do for specifically for the benefit of students?
Yeah, thank you, Bindu. I have taken over as director from March 1st of this year, and I am the first woman director of Vishwesvaraya Museum in 55 years. And in all India also, Vishwesvaraya Museum is a unit of National Council of Science Museums under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. All India level also, I am the first woman director in All India level also. I think the Science Museum movement started in India 62 years back. So I have created a milestone by being a first woman director of this museum in Bangalore as well as in All India level. And our museum being the southern headquarters, so we'll have to oversee all the museums under in the southern states, all the four southern states. We have science centers in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Kerala. So this job involves for me, I'll have to do a lot of traveling also. In this 1 month, I managed to visit physically because all these events were happening virtually. And the whole of last year, nobody has visited these science centers. So I managed to visit Tirupati and Tirunelveli. These two science centers I managed to visit in this 1 month of time. And also we launched a new program on March 22nd as on the occasion of World Water Day. So to stress the it is shown on Science on a Sphere. We have got a Science on a Sphere exhibit on which the different data sets can be projected, and we have a direct link with the NASA in USA. Every day we can download that data. Using these data sets, we created a show on water footprint of various items. Like for drinking a cup of coffee, you spend 140 liters of water. So you should think before you waste. If you order a coffee, you have to drink it. You should not throw it. Then you are throwing 140 liters of water. So like that, we have made water footprint for different items, and we have. You've also taken a pledge on the water, and the visitors of the museum are so happy that they are fed up with the virtual events. Physical events, we had a lot of hands-on activities for the students on this 1 month, and then we are planning to have a lot of events throughout the year in the form of new exhibitions as well as new activities, and even we are also going to contribute for the 75 years of India's independence, the progress of science and technology in these 75 years of India's independence. And if any of you have any significant contribution, you can pass it out to me so that that can become part of this exhibition. We are doing it on behalf of Government of India. So that is one thing. And also I'm planning to have a digital walkthrough of the museum, because physical events are definitely better, but the number of visitors have come down due to the COVID. It looks like that COVID is going to continue for some time, though we started in a big way in March for physical events, but I think now again seeing the cases increasing, we have decided April, May, we are going to become again virtual events only, we are going to do it. Maybe slowly we'll have a hybrid event. So we are planning to have a walkthrough of the museum for the benefit of the visitors, and we find that we get visitors from all over the world participating for our contest. Especially we got students participating from Vietnam and Thailand participating in our event. That was a very good thing for us. And also I'm planning to do some activities for differently able children, and also interdisciplinary activities like art and science mix, and also some women specific events also. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sadhna ma'am. That is extremely great initiative, especially for the students. So now I'm coming to the end of our session with the last question, which is again a common question, because you all as leaders have served in IEEE again as chairs, and you have been taking key responsibilities, not just in your organizations, but also at the IEEE. So what I would like to know is, this forum, that is the professional society of IEEE, how has the networking in IEEE contributed, or could you leverage this networking into your career? So I would like to know from each of you, because that would definitely be a motivation to all the women who would understand the importance of having, such a great platform to leverage their, competencies into the outside world through this network. So I would like to know from your all ends, starting from Lakshmi ma'am, as she has served as a chair of B.
Yes. Thank you, Bindu. And a very interesting question. It is sort of now intertwined into our career growth paths. That's what I can say about IEEE platform. In fact, I have made a lot of good friends, and very comfortable to ask any question, get the answers to any technical details or anything. What I would like to suggest, not only for young women leaders who are in the making, and also to the students and those who are looking for what they have to do in the future. IEEE is a great platform, especially how it has helped me as CDOT itself. I had influenced CDOT to sign an MOU with IEEE, where we did some programs together, and we also took corporate membership for standards. So standards are another very, very important area where especially people in industry have to look at, because when you develop products and other things, they have to meet the interoperability conditions and other things. And IEEE is an excellent platform where I'm sure all of you know about the Wi-Fi IEEE 802.11 AXA and so many things. And we are all contributing. CDOT is also contributing to those standards. It's a pride moment for us, because IEEE is an international organization where we are able to give some standardization aspects also. So that's a real feather in the cap. I think all corporates should contribute to the standards, so that India also be on the top of the world in the standards part. And I would also like to say that the future networks of IEEE, is very useful, because you always know, we are always in knowing what is happening in the new areas like 4G, 5G, Open RAN, so many things. And you need not even take a course in Udemy or anything. You just have to go through all the TV portions of IEEE. You can fully understand about 5G and also the spectrum. So many, the plethora of data is so much that if I have to talk to anybody whom maybe somebody wants to know about the EV charging, for example, electric vehicle, that's another big thing and is expected to be almost 50,000 crore opportunity coming up in next 10 to 15 years. So there are so many things that, I mean, every day I'll be thinking, what is that I have to read today? So much of information is available, and it is very interesting to know these things, and you get an opportunity to also publish and speak at conferences about the topics you are working on. And my core area of technology is reliability of telecom systems, and that is a very dry subject like intellectual property rights, but I have always taken interest in these areas, and I have a review paper in IEEE on reliability way long back. The IEEE and IEEE Bangalore section has given me lot of opportunities, and VFNEP is another big platform where I can really say whatever I am today, the confidence is because of this platform. Thank you so much.
It was extremely nice to have heard you answer that. Okay, now Deepa ma'am, as you also were the chair of V after Lakshmi ma'am, and now you're the chair elect of Bangalore section, which is the news for all the women here and everywhere. I must say that we could, join hands with you in the coming years as well. So I would like to understand from you that this IEEE platform, how much of it has complemented in your career path?
Thank you, Bindu. I am associated with IEEE for the last 20 years. Continuously, I am the member of IEEE, now the senior member. And I'm also taking care of IEEE UVC for the last 20 years, and it is very rewarding. So I have seen my students growing through IEEE, and IEEE has contributed, UVC has contributed a lot to the development and the progress of our students in their career path, higher studies, and volunteering. So this through IEEE, I have learned to become a volunteer. And according to me, a volunteer is one who spares time for the cause of others without expecting anything in return. And this is my definition as for a volunteer. And because of this only, now I have become the chair elect of IEEE Bangalore section. And I have been benefited immensely from this organization, especially to the college. So whenever we call a person, I always find out or think about the take from that lecture or from that meeting. So they have given internship to our students. They have, our students have been offered jobs. We have got very good resource person to talk and share their experience. And it has been a very good networking for me and for my research students to select the exam panel from various sources. And these are all the benefits. And I have tried to become a very good volunteer, a leader. And this has complemented my job as a teacher. So I'm a teacher and a volunteer. And the entire institution has benefited, and I am extremely happy about it. Thank you, Bindu.
Thank you, Deepa ma'am. That was so nice of you to tell how wonderful is the networking opportunity on the IEEE.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Divya ma'am, as you have served as the chair of WIE and also the vice chair at the IEEE Bangalore section, also you won a lot of awards in IEEE. I would like you to express about your opportunity in your career path from IEEE, ma'am?
Today, whatever I am here, eminent people and also the audience, it's because of IEEE. It has given lots of opportunity for me to and also to get got a good name or a fame for me. Only thing you need is little systematic life where you have little time and you should have a passion for volunteering. As just now madam told, volunteering should be your passion. And once you have passion, it is very good platform for time to our every requirement changes. 10, 15 years back, my requirement was something, but today my requirement is to share my experience and make for needs. And also, and because of this IEEE platform, I got the opportunity to become a vice chair, women in engineering chair, and I got the opportunity to perform many things like executing the international conference or reaching the government schools or for community services through government and municipality schools. And also, I tell you one very simple thing. I see that I told I am into the data center operation. In the data center, we have supercomputer, okay, where I will be looking after or a operation, monitoring, managing the supercomputer, and we help the user to enable their application on the supercomputer. We do the hand holding, the important activity which I like or my passion is that hand holding supporting the user to enable the application on the supercomputer. And you don't believe, in 2020, across many engineering colleges, I had given a talk on supercomputer. All this was possible only because of IEEE. Even today, I had come prepared to talk about supercomputers. Of course, it's not possible. So what I'm trying to tell is, whatever you think, if you are good in managing your time, you have a passion for volunteering, IEEE is the best platform where you get a responsibility and sometimes we get authority also to do what exactly we want. So I have shared my leadership skills, I have learned leadership skills, shared my style of leadership, and I involved many people. And I see it. I know Dr. Deepa ma'am or Sadhana, you, in fact, all because of IEEE. Dr. Lakshmi and myself, we were colleagues in earlier in Indian Telephone Industries, ITEL Limited, we were colleagues. But otherwise, I know all this Dr. Parameshwari or Ashwini, whichever name you take here. I know all these premier people only because of IEEE. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya ma'am. Sadhana ma'am, as you also served as the chair of WIE in the last year, and now you also have taken key roles in the India Council, HTC, and other bodies there. So I'm really happy to network with you and understand how this has led to your role as a leader, as a director in VITM, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Bindu. Yeah, it's a good question. I think IEEE has played a very important role in my career development. We had an MOU with the IEEE and Visvesvaraya Museum, and we jointly execute programs in partnership with IEEE, IEEE Bangalore section, India office, and the museum. It's a tripartite MOU. So we have done a lot of activities in collaboration with IEEE. So in that way, it has been very useful. And I would say that why you should be IEEE member, because it's useful for networking. Networking is one very important thing. In Bangalore section, most of the people. Now we're going to India Council, you get a chance to meet people from across the sections. And also I'm in one of the subcommittees of WA Global. So that attending that meeting was a little more rewarding, because you are able to connect with people across the globe. So IEEE is a great platform for networking from people across the globe. Definitely, it's an excellent platform. I've learned a lot from IEEE, and I worked as a treasurer, and I learned a lot of financial skills. Though I was reluctant to take up the position, but after I took up, I found that even every role you take up is very useful in IEEE. You learn a lot from IEEE, and you are also able to volunteer and give back to the youth. It's a platform in which you can contribute to the society. You can learn from IEEE. Also, you can contribute by giving back to society. and you have the networking opportunities are there. You're able to meet people from across the globe for anything. Even Bindu Mysore, I wanted some help, I called you and immediately you helped me. So that would not have been possible if IEEE was not there. So IEEE is a great platform. It has helped me a lot, and I'll be always thankful to IEEE, and I will continue my membership. And I'm enjoying I enjoyed my role in various capacities as educational activities chair, as a WE chair, now India Council Humanitarian Technology Activities vice chair. I enjoyed all the positions, and I enjoyed my position as a treasurer also. That was a very responsible position, but I enjoyed that also. Maybe I would request all of you to actively participate in activity, and don't stick to only one event. I think going to different spectra it's very good, because you learn a lot from different. Don't stick to only one area. Better to diversify, and you get an opportunity to meet more people and learn more. Yeah, thank you.
Sadhna ma'am, that was the end of the questions from my side, and I believe that each one of you, spoke out of your heart and your experience, and that really showed that what a leader you are, where you work with your team for for the common objective or the common goal, and that is where you become a true leader. So thank you once again for being a part of this round of chat, which we wanted to enable all the subsections like Mysore subsection and Mangalore subsection, and all of us here to understand what we could do as a part of being IEEE members here. Ma'am, I have a couple of questions from the audience as well. There is one, Dr. Pallavi Mane. She would like to ask, would suggest discussion on talent and skill one needs to be a leader. She would I guess she wants to understand that what is the talent that a leader or a skill that a leader must have. Probably that's her question. Would any one of you take it up? I hope you got it. She
I will
wants.
say like this. Hello. My
Yes.
answer to Professor Pallavi would be highly focused. You should know how to express and communicate. You should know how to seek the help. You should be, and if time comes, you should be in a position to mentor. And whenever you need, you should identify a right mentor and talk to the mentor. That's possible with IEEE community. Do you agree with me, Pallavi? Pallavi?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to talk to a mentor. You have to identify the mentor and talk to them. You will be in a position to attend once or twice, then you will know whom to approach for the particular use case, particular problem or a requirement always. I won't say problem.
Yeah.
This is my
Anybody would like to add to it, ma'am?
Yeah, in my opinion, Lakshmi here.
Yes, ma'am.
In
Go
my
ahead.
opinion, of course, being a good listener always helps in going a long way, because we are always eager to talk than listen. So that talent and of course patience, women always have it. And many times what I have faced is the skill I need to have is um, you get very perturbed or frustrated at certain situations. That's when you have to handle yourself. Okay, that I think is a characteristic of individuals, which you have to have your own development skill on that. That I don't know. I don't know if it can be taught. I think that's will be an innate nature, or that's how you have to learn how to listen and perform better. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There is one more question that you pointed out on confidence, and you also added lifelong learning. That is from YVS, ma'am. So how important is planning that is setup of short-term or long-term goals. How important is planning, set up short-term or long-term goals? One other listener.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to put it like usually we have a passion, right? So maybe we have set up certain goals, but being women with a multi personality, like multiple roles, how do we actually achieve those goals that you have set up, maybe a short term or a long term? That is one, whether you were able to foresee your goals and you were able to achieve that. That is one part. Second part is in maybe our leadership roles, whatever each one is taking up. Maybe in some cases, you must have been thrown with certain challenges, which is not of your planned activity. So, how you overcome that in those respective roles that you have taken up now? That was my actually the question.
Should I answer?
Yes, please. Please answer.
In my way, whatever I have practiced or experienced, as women, what we do is we try to sacrifice more because we are more kind because of having children or other things. So what we do is we see our progress in our children's progress or spouse's progress, and that is our weakness. Okay, we are not selfish, but in order to achieve something, our goal or a particular position, we have to be little aggressive, and we should not shy away, or we should not feel shy to achieve that. For example, I will give my own experience. After doing my MS and PhD in computer science, I have 4 degrees, 2 in electrical and 2 in computer science. So I wanted to become a professor of computer science because I, after working for 20 years in electrical department, I thought that I should shift to computer science department in order to guide students in that area. Okay. So it was not that easy. I was selected as a professor of computer science, but I was never given the appointment order. So I fought for 5 years in the court. Okay, 5 years long battle I fought because I was very particular about working in the computer science department, but I never did anything unpleasant, and I never entered into any unpleasant situation, but continuously I fought for 5 years to get that position in computer science department. So we should know what we want, and we should not feel shy for getting that. Okay, and do work systematically in order to achieve the short-term goal or the long-term goal, in order to do justice to your area of interest and to the organization. So this is very, very important. And see, today that battle, it has gone in my name. 5 years of battle in the court has gone in my name. So this is very, very important. You should know what you want and make arrangements, fight for it. Don't make anything unpleasant. Have perseverance and patience. Certainly we can achieve. So this is what is required for women, which we usually give it up. We feel that others are doing well in our family, we are happy. No, even we should do well in order to see that others are happy in this family. That is very, very important according to me.
Thank you. Yeah, just one query. You said you had to fight a court. So literally you had to fight that in the court?
Then you have to unmute Professor Deepa Shana.
Okay. I literally fought for 5 years, 10 different cases from my colleagues and from the university. I spent a lot of money on cases, but I took it as a learning process. I came to know that justice won't come just like that. There should be a chemistry between the lawyer and the judge. Then only you get justice. Okay. I try to learn about the justice system and everything. You take it as a learning process. Certainly you can win the battle or go to the position where you want, but nothing should be unpleasant. I never did anything unpleasant. Okay, literally I fought for 5 years, 10 different cases. Thank God I didn't go mad or went into depression.
That was great.
Try to add
Thank you.
whatever
Thank you.
Madam has said. Whatever Madam has said. And being unpleasant, and I mean, women cannot take unpleasantness, but we want the right judgment, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's what we work for. In fact, even in my own case, when for us it's a ladder, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, those are the ways. E3, E4 you'll easily reach. E4 to E5 is a very, very difficult promotion, okay? And you'll always feel there is not justice done, somebody else would have got, and in fact, my CMD called me and asked me, are you feeling bad that you didn't get your promotion? And he said, I had to draw a line somewhere. So that's the reason you did not get. I said, why did you draw a line at me? You could have drawn it after me. You could have given me the promotion, right? Then he said, no, you, so that's what I wanted to tell you. You do well now, something like that, and he left. So my aggressiveness, what Madam has said, was I doubled and tripled my work ethic, I performed 3 times more than what I performed. So that, not that it was like a revenge for me, And I didn't go into depression saying that anyway he did not give, I will not get. I never went into that. I said, whether I get it or not, let me do this. And that gives a lot of satisfaction to you. At least personally, and your conscience is very, you feel good. Feel good factor is more. And what happens, like Bhagavad Gita, what happens at the end? No, need not worry. At least if you have worked hard, that's what Madam is trying to say. So, of course, I think we are short of time. Otherwise, we can talk about short-term goals and long-term goals.
One more session on our struggles. So we can have how we struggle to reach these positions.
Right.
Which was rightfully ours.
Thank you so much for your answers, and the answers are truly from your heart. So it speaks about
I expect another few sessions like this, which can really motivate women in engineering. Thank you very much.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Many thanks to all of you. Yes, it's been truly inspiring. So, as you said, there are a couple of questions, but I'm certain that we can, organize one more session and, give much more leisurely, inputs to that. Thank you so much.
Lakshmi, there is one question I think that is pointing only at you. It says, hello, madam, can we get patent for an idea? And what should be the cost? What would be the cost in India for a patent? Something like that. Yeah.
You cannot patent an idea. First answer to the first part. Cost of filing a patent, if you go to www.ipindia.in, you can get the total cost of filing the patent. If it is individual, I think it is about 5,000. And if it is, say for example, you are doing on the behalf of your university or college, it may cost you around 15 to 20,000 to file a patent. But to carry out the total cycle of, say, for examination report until you get a grant, you may have to spend about 50,000 to 1 lakh.
Thank you, ma'am. That was answer that we wanted to hear from. So we have one question from Ashwini Holla. That's the last part. how can we mobilize the will of people in exact opposition to our viewpoint, especially in situations that mandate consensus? I think she was thinking we won't be able to cover it, but I think we should take that, ma'am. Yeah. Deepashana.
No, it is difficult for me to answer. I will pass it. Divya or Sadhana.
Sadhana, ma'am, did you get? Can I read the question for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think if the people are of opposite view and you want to how to reach a consensus, that's the question, I think, no?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in such situations, I think you will have to tell the pros and cons of both the things and ask them only to take the decision. Means you can say the positive of their problem and negative of the problem, and what would be the best thing. Then finally they'll come back to what you say. Instead of forcing them that if you go say that no, you have to follow this, there's no choice. You follow what I'm saying. That people will get very much offended. So maybe you'll have to spend a lot of time discussing the pros and cons, and finally the people will come to your line. You'll have to do it in a very skillful manner.
Thank you, ma'am. That was good.
Thank
Ma'am.
you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, so we have now come to the end, and I'm sure this was a very inspiring session, and people want more such sessions. Looking forward for more. Yes. So over to the Master of Ceremony, Varsha. Please take it over.
Ma'am, I'd like to convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our panelists, Dr. YVS Lakshmi. Thank you for taking your time, and we would like to present a virtual memento as a token of appreciation.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank Dr. Bindu, very good friend of mine, I should say. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Bindu, and whole of Mysore subsection and Mangalore subsection, Bangalore we. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Niti, we're not able to see the screen.
Hello, ma'am.
We are unable to see your screen.
Just a second, ma'am.
Thank you, Anandi ma'am, for staying with us so long, and happy to see you.
Thank you.
Hello, Anandi.
Yeah, thank you all.
To listen to everyone. Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Wonderful session today. I learned a lot from everyone.
Thank you, Anandi.
Anandi ma'am is such a support. When we want any V program, she says, just go ahead. That's all. Please do it. Thank you, Lakshmi ma'am. That's a virtual memento right there for you.
Thank you so much, Professor Bindu. Congratulations on doing a wonderful week. And we have the last word here, I think. So today is the last one we lead. I hope it helped all the participants out here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ma'am's memento. Kirti.
To thank Dr. Deepa Shenoy, please accept our virtual memento as a token of appreciation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Divya MG, thank you, ma'am, for sparing your time and sharing your knowledge. And we would like to present a virtual memento. Sadhna Thawar, thank you, ma'am, for taking your time. And we would like to present a virtual memento.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you very much for this virtual memento.
Thank you. We believe that the knowledge you all have shared will immensely help in the development of young minds and will eventually translate into their lives. I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Bindu Thomas for taking time and moderating this panel discussion. We would like to present a virtual memento as a token of appreciation.
And Varsha, that wasn't required for me.
Ma'am, we are grateful for all the guidance and time you have given us.
I second Varsha's thoughts. Many thanks to Bindu Madam for organizing such a wonderful event. My thanks on behalf of all of Mangalore subsection as well as Bangalore section. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Ashwini. Your support's always there.
Sincere thanks to all the EXICOM members and coordinators for their support in organizing this webinar. And my special thanks to everyone who took time and attended this event. Thank you, one and all. This is Varsha signing off.
Yeah, thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Good night. Good night,
Thank you.
Bindu. Good night, Lakshmi Madam, Divya, Sadhana.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.
So much. It was extremely inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Varsha.